there, viewers. Welcome back to the Basque Boys, and before we get started with this episode, just going to let you know that it's the middle of the transfer window, and I'm not going to want to break this up into 2 episodes, so we're going to do a good chunk of the transfer window, as well as Copa del Rey matches only, not the league matches, strictly on the Copa del Rey, because we got ourselves, right out of the gate, a decent Copa del Rey match to start versus Valencia. So, we're going to get into that. And then we're going to deal with the transfer stuff because we already have a couple of teams that are trying to go after some of my big name players. So, without further ado, let's crack into it. What's up, peoples? It's Gendo here. Welcome back to the Basque Boys, and as always, if you are a student doing the series, please do go and drop the like. Now, we are in the middle of a transfer window. It's the 11th of January, but on top of that, we also got a Copa del Rey match, a second leg match versus Valencia to kick off this episode, and then we're going to get ourselves through into some transfer dealings because a couple of my big name players are being scouted, and by some teams that you probably not have expected. And that's actually a team in China by the name of Guangzhou Evergrande. Now, you probably have heard that name before. They do have Naby Keita currently on their squad. Anybody else that you probably have heard of? Socrates, former Dortmund player, Yacine Bramini, Gabriel Paulista. But Guangzhou Evergrande, most notable because they're pretty much the dominant team in China right now. As you can see, they've won every single Chinese Super League for the last 11 seasons, and they're looking to try and strengthen their roster. So they have been going after not one, but 2 of my players, and they are Mikel Merino, as you can see, courted by Guangzhou, and Inigo Leque. Not only does Inigo Leque being courted by Guangzhou, he's been making noises that he wants to go play in China. Like, dude, what are you thinking? So that being said, Merino and Leque definitely not leaving for the time being, especially to China. Not going to sell them off to them. So we did in fact play a few matches leading up to this point. Since our last episode, we played in 5 matches, the very next one being our second leg versus Murcia in the Copa del Rey, and we came out with a 0-0 draw. We were already 6-1 up at that point in time, so I played mostly Bilbao and under-19s players, and still only coming away with a 0-0 draw. Very disappointing, but that saw us through to take on Valencia in the next round. And then the very first leg away at the Nuevo Mestalla, we only came away with a 1-1 draw. Villalibre getting the goal. We were playing from behind for a good portion of the match, but Villalibre getting the goal to see us with an away goal coming into this leg that's going to be absolutely vital. Outside the Copa del Rey matches, we played in 3 league matches, won 2, lost 1, and they were very, very difficult matches to play in, very surprisingly difficult matches to play in at that, only coming away with 1-0 victories versus both Levante and Elche, who are not doing very well whatsoever in the season right now. Javi Martinez scoring versus Levante, Muniain scoring against Elche, and then coming out versus Rayo. Rayo sitting in 17th place. I figured, let's get a squad rotation and try and get some people fit, and we lose 2-1. Muniain getting the goal there, but honestly, we should have won this match. If at the very least drew against a team that is sitting in near relegation spots, really. So that was very disappointing. Hopefully we can turn that around in this match versus Valencia to see ourselves through to the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. Alright, with the match versus Valencia, we do have to change a couple of things around because of injuries, suspensions, and in the case of Atangana, he's away with Cameroon on Cup of Nations duty. So, that being said, just taking a look at the bottom, Muniain, Hervias, you know about Hervias, but Muniain picking up an injury, he's going to be out for at least the next week. And then San Jose getting himself suspended, so that's why he can't play. So, the lineup's going to be as follows. Kepa is going to be in net. Leque, Ray, Laporte, and Azpilicueta along the back line. Javi Martinez has to take over in the defensive mid role. Herrera and Moreno sitting in front of him. Vasquez and Shabby out on the wings today. Hopefully they can do well in that roles. It'd be nice if they just were able to feed the ball up to Villalibre up front to let the big man do his job, and hopefully we can come away with a win and an advancement in the Copa del Rey. And for those of you wondering what exactly I was going to do to help fix my winger issue, I did in fact bring up Chechu Moreno as my replacement. So we need to give him a number. We'll give him number 16, and we will go ahead with that. 25 minutes on now, just about to tick over to 26, and we're in an attacking position. Shabby Telekwe to Villalibre. There we go. Villalibre, Mr. Free Village, opening up the scoring in the 26th minute, 1-0 to the club. And if I do say so myself, that was a lovely bit of passing, able to switch the pitch. Shabby just getting it through a defender to Lekwe, who then had the wherewithal passing it off to Villalibre. Just one touch, no more than 2 touches per person, getting the ball into the back of the net. That's how you do it. Corner kick, Vasquez gets it inside to Villalibre, who lays it off to Ander Herrera, and just like that, 6 minutes later, we double the lead, a 3-1 aggregate advantage. Valencia really have a mountain to climb at this point in time. They need to get those away goals, but right now, they have not had the luck. They've taken a good number of shots, just not a lot on target. The possession pendulum has definitely swung over to the side of Valencia. They've seen a lot more of the ball, but they just haven't done a lot with it, whereas we've been doing well on set pieces, as you just saw at the corner kick, and that's really what's been doing it so far. The first goal was actually started off of a throw-in, so I'm very pleased with how everything's going on. Keep it up, lads. Don't throw this away. Though in my history with FM, I've seen teams throw away leads like this, so we got to be careful going down the stretch. Especially with this team. This team likes to throw away leads in the last 15 minutes. And speaking of 15 minutes left to go in this match, there is some decent possession by Valencia to try and get it through, but we have the ball now in an attacking position in Chausti, who's just been subbed on, trying to cross it in, but we do still have the ball though. Vasquez coming through to Villalibre, turns around one defender, tries to get around a second, but it's cleared away only as far as Echeniz, who is subbed on at the same time as in Chausti, and Ander Herrera giving up the ball way too easily. But at the same token, Martinez taking off of Valencia too easily. Vasquez gets it through to Inchausti, who's just been subbed on, and that's got to be the game capper. It's 3-0 on the day, 4-1 on aggregate. With 14 minutes left to go, I just don't see Valencia scoring 3. That was some great bit of back and forth play, and in the end, we come out the stronger side. And Chausti hasn't played a lot this season, and when he has been a difference maker. Good super sub. And the referee is going to blow his full-time whistle, and that sees us through to the quarterfinals of the Copa del Rey. 3-0 on the day, 4-1 on aggregates. A great win, boys. Can't take that away from any of them. And just going down the list, some very decent wins from other big-name teams as well. Atletico, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all winning as you would expect them to. But who are we in fact going to play in the quarterfinals? Copa del Rey draws us against Levante. Levante, who are sitting in 19th place in La Liga right now. So that is a pretty easy draw going forward. Probably should have done this instead. But let's take a look and see how the tree is shaping up. We are on the Real Madrid side. So if we beat Levante, more than likely we're going to take on Real Madrid in the semifinals. We just can't get away from them. Whether it's in the finals or not, we just cannot get away from Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey. But then on the other side, Atletico Barcelona is more than likely going to be the semifinals on that side. All right, so we know what we're going to have to do there. So let's just slow it down a bit and see where this transfer window takes us now. Because as I said before, this transfer window is something that I need to be cautious of because, you know, Lekwe's still got a target on his back. Villalibre, even though I just re-upped his contract, he's now making $125,000 a week. He's still got a target on his back. I just cannot and should not allow any of those big-name players to go. And, of course, it would be unfortunate if one of those big teams like PSG, like Juventus, Man United, City, yada, 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 all down the line, hit the release fee clause. Because I know there are some of those players that don't have a gigantic release fee, and that was negotiated by their agents. So we're just going to have to go forward with what we got and just cross our fingers, hope that no big team comes in for one of them. See, now this player has just been suggested to me by my head of youth development, Javier Goitia, and he is a 16-year-old center back. Doesn't look too sharp right now. He's got a 9 marking, 12 tackling, 10 positioning. Of course, he can always grow, but just take a look at this. Potential to be a 5-star player. So if I put him in my system, he could potentially develop into a high-quality player. As of right now, only 1.5 stars, so obviously he'd sit in my under 19s, but he's only worth 600,000 euro. See, now what was I just talking about Guangzhou coming in for my players? Mikel Merino is being offered $19.5 million plus another $6 million on top of that in future fees. But To be honest with you, that's a very low ball offer, especially with how he's been playing over the last few seasons, and his minimum release fee clause is 40 million euros. So I'm going to give him the one-time offer, like what I've said before, like what I did with PSG earlier this season, if not last season. I'm going to give him the one-time offer, 40 million, take it or leave it. If you want it, you're going to offer it. And they come back with 23 and almost 8. So no, they are immediately off the table with that. If you're not coming in for 40 million, then I'm not selling them to you. So in the run-up to the first leg of our quarterfinal match versus Levante, we had to go and take on last place Sevilla. At this point in time of the season, last place on Sevilla, I couldn't believe it myself. But we had to come from behind to get the victory. 3-2 the final score. It was all Gylfi Sigurdsson on the Sevilla side. He was a one-man wrecking crew, and it came down to some bit part players for us to get the victory. Laporte, Vasquez, and Herrera ultimately having the game-deciding goal. We had the majority of possession, the majority of the shots, which has pretty much been the tail of the tape throughout all of these seasons. But it just didn't come together. It didn't click until the last 10 minutes of the game as I just hit my keyboard. And we didn't even start Villa Libre. I wanted to give Villa Libre a little bit of a rest. John Batista didn't do anything in this match. Subbed him out in the 60th minute, but even then, Villa Libre came on, was very lackluster as well, so he had to just work with everybody around, and ultimately, it was everybody around Villa Libre that did the job. So fortunate to get the 3 points here, jumping into second place before we get into Levante. Right, so now we get into that first leg quarterfinal matchup versus Levante, and once again, injuries and suspensions hindering my choice, as Azpilicueta picking up suspension and Linton Jr. getting injured in that Sevilla match. So the lineup's going to be changed, and it's going to be as follows. Kepa in net, Leque, Martinez, Laporte, and Sabarit are going to be along the back line. San Jose's the defensive mid. Marino and Herrera, the two center mids. We got Muniain back on track from his injury. Xabi on the right. Villa Libre sitting up top. Like I said, 19th place Levante. It's away from home, and we know that we don't do well in cup matches away from home. So we got to get out there, got to hit them early, and hopefully come back with at least one away goal for the second leg. So let's go kick off and see what happens. It's another time we're using the 4-3-3 against a 4-2-3-1 formation. We've had decent success using our formation against that formation on the other side. Hopefully, it will bring us some success today. Early on, 15 minutes on, a corner kick. I was about to say a free kick. Back out to Herrera, gets it inside, falls to Xabi, and Xabi, with a very weak header, easily saved by the Levante goalkeeper. But at least we're pressuring the goalkeeper early. Already got 4 shots on them. And I just realized who's in net for Levante. Former Bilbao keeper, Iago Herrerin. I think this team is trying to overdo it too much. Halftime, still 0-0. Have taken 8-9 shots, only the 1 on target from Xabi. So there needs to be a change, and there needs to be a change now. We need to go higher tempo, more direct passing. If we can just pump the ball into the box, that's all I'm asking. Get the ball into the box, and we'll definitely have several people in there to get a head or a foot on it. So just get the ball into the box, boys. Do something with your lives. Actually come out here and win a game, put a goal into the back of the net, and we'll come back home, and we'll have an easy time. Yeah, that's right. You tell him, Gendo, with your awesome motivational speaking. 62 minutes on, and I have subbed out Muniain for Eder Vasquez because he just wasn't looking too good, Muniain was. So had to get him out of there, and Vasquez coming in with his prolific crossing skills. Hopefully he can put them to the test. That being said, we're doing very well holding onto the ball, dribbling, and a nice pass from Sabarit to Villa Libre up over the top, gets a head onto it, and there we go. We finally cracked this game open, 1-0 to the club. And I do have to say, this match has just flown by, barely any sort of highlights, barely any sort of showing of shots, of our shots on net, as we had 14 and 5, but as it goes, we end this game with a 1-0 victory, and like I said, I wanted that all-important away goal, and that's what we're going to have going back to the San Mamés. It's a good win, boys, against this lowly La Liga team right now, and we got ourselves the confidence and the motivation going into the second leg, but we do have ourselves a match in between, and it's against Real Sociedad. Gonna show the recap of that and then we'll get into our second leg versus Levante. Of course, we can always talk about transfer news first, and good news for us because Javier Goiria does in fact accept to come play for the Athletic Club. 16-year-old coming in, 600,000 euro, 2.4 thousand a week, so 2,400 a week, and we are immediately going to stick him in the under-19s to get him some development. Guangzhou just pushing their bid for Marino ever so slightly higher. They now have 28 million up front with 9 million in future fees. It's still not 40 million, but I can't help but wonder if they're doing this just to unsettle him. So we played that match versus Real Sociedad, and it came down to a 1-all nail-biter draw. It wasn't good for us because Sociedad getting out early with an 11th minute goal, and it was not a clean match to say the least. We had 8 yellow cards. Our players were fouling the Sociedad players up and down the pitch. Rivalry match aside, this was a very dirty game, and it seems like FM smiled upon me, actually looked down upon me for once in my life, and gave me a penalty, and scored me a penalty. Ander Herrera in the 3rd minute of stoppage time out of 3, coming away with the match-tying goal to see us share the spoils on the day. Like I said, it wasn't a very good day on the field, in the play. As you can see, all those yellow cards. So I'll take it. As bad as it was, I'll take it. Now, this is exactly what I did not want to have happen. Guangzhou have come up and offered the 40 million euros straight up. And I just don't know. I'm going to have to offer him a new contract. I'm going to have to offer him a ton of money to stay. Which is dumb because I just offered him a new contract in the summer. So I'm going to have to offer him a new contract. Oh, Jesus, he wants 150,000. Oh, no. If I want him to stay, and I know my hair's all crazy after doing that. If I want him to stay, I'm going to have to offer him big money. How about 135,000? This needs to be done because I can't let go of Marino. There's no way I'm allowing Marino to leave. Will 135 be good for you? He wants 145. Split the difference, 140. I don't care about everything else right now. Just be fine with it. I want you to stay. I'm pretty sure he wants to stay with us too. It's just that, Guangzhou coming in and offering gobs and gobs of money, and we gotta have to match that. So 140,000 a week for Marino. I think it's a little overpaying for him, but at the same time, if I want to keep him, since he is a damn fine midfielder, I'm going to have to pay. Here's crossing the fingers that he chooses us over China. Yeah, now that he's got that properly on his mind, how's he going to concentrate playing his ball for us? But either way, I'm actually going to start him in this match because, like I said, he's one of my best center mids that I got going on. So, lineup's going to be as follows in this second leg of the quarterfinal. Kepa is going to be in nets. Leque, Martinez, Laporte, Azpilicueta on the back line. San Jose, the defensive mid. Marino, Linton Jr., the 2 center mids. Shabby and Munayin, the wingers. Villalibre sitting up top. The 1 goal is nice, especially as an away goal, but it's far from a comfortable lead. We need to go out there, we need to crash the net early, score a couple goals early, and just push this to bed to see us through to the semifinals. So, let's go kick off, and let's go see what happens. As I just said, a lead is nice, the control is nice, but we need to be dominant. We need to stomp them. We need to put our boots on their throats and not allow Levante, a team like Levante, to come out and jump all over us. We need to be the aggressors, and we need to score all the goals. And now we got ourselves a highlight just about a half hour in, and we could very well be our goal right here. Nice passing. Getting it out to the wing, pushing it back inside, out to Linton Jr., to Mikel Merino. He's got China on his mind, gets it out to Cesar Azpilicueta, inside to Villalibre. Oh, and Villalibre has him take it off of him right in the 6-yard box. But we do have another chance. Marino, once again, gets it out to Shabby. Shabby coming down the wing, crosses it inside, doesn't really find anybody. Muniain gets it back, though, to Villalibre. A lot of going on, and Villalibre scores the goal. That puts us up 2-0 on aggregates. It's his 28th goal of the season in all competitions. Let's go and put this to bed, boys. I mean, we have had all of that passing play that you just saw. Yes, Levante did have a couple of good defensive stops, but we've just been passing around the park. and the possession helps as well. This is the most one-sided of a football match that I've seen in a long time. 60+% possession, just about 10 shots total. Levante have barely gotten one, and we're just completely outplaying them. So that being said, let's just keep it up. We're doing everything that we can. We're doing everything right now to get ourselves the victory and to see ourselves through to the semifinals. So why chop and change right now? We're doing fine. Laporte off of a throw and gets it right back into Lekwe to Shabby at the top of the box to Linton Jr. Linton Jr. smacks it off of Headadine, who gets a hand onto it, but it's disallowed? What? Oh. They're saying that Linton Jr. was offside? Huh? They're saying that Linton Jr. is offside. Hold on, timeout. I know this video has gone on long, but I want to actually see what exactly they meant by that. Because they're saying that... okay, they're saying that Villa Libre is offside. They attributed the offside to Linton Jr., but they meant to say Villa Libre because he was way offside. Now that we got all that cleared up, let's go out for the last 15 minutes. Making a couple of subs, Herrera and Inchausti coming on. I really should make one more sub. I mean, who do I rarely play? Who have I rarely played in this entire competition? Oscar Ray? Alex Uhia? We'll throw in Oscar Ray. I rarely play Oscar Ray, so let's give him 6 minutes out there. I mean, it's not going to mean much of anything in the long run. We got ourselves a victory, and we're going to go into the semifinals, into San Jose. Once again, some decent passing movement that we've seen throughout all of these seasons. Out to Lekwe. He's going to cross it in. He does. Villa Libre, a little bit of a looping header over the goalkeeper, Headadine, and it's now 3-0 on aggregate. Villa Libre, a one-man show. 29th goal of the season. He's almost at that 30-goal mark, and we're not even at the end of January yet. There's nothing more about Villa Libre that I can say that hasn't already been said. This kid is an immense talent and deserves to play and deserves to be the starting striker in every single squad. Yes, I may be paying him a lot at $125,000 a week, but he deserves to be paid that much money. Hell, he deserves to be paid twice that much money. And with that being said, we get ourselves through to the semifinals. 2-0 on the day, 3-0 on aggregate. A good win, boys. And with that, let's take a look and see how the others stacked up. All right, so our semifinal is set. It's us versus a familiar foe, Los Blancos. And yeah, it's been more bad memories than good, but over the last year and a half, we've actually had the better of them. So hopefully we can catch a little bit of that magic going forward over these next two legs and see if we can get ourselves back to another Copa del Rey final. And in fact, those two matches are taking place before we take on Spurs in the Champions League. So guess what? That's going to be next episode. But of course, guys, the transfer window saga is not over yet. We still don't know what Mikel Merino's going to decide. Will he stay or will he go? But we will find out on his decision in the next episode as well. So I hope you guys tune in then. But as far as this episode goes, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please go and drop it a like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And if you want to leave a comment below on what you saw today or the series as a whole, please go and do so. I appreciate every single comment that you guys put down. But anyway, guys, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, and peace out.